All right, hello, and welcome back to another session of the Great Ace Attorney. Hope you guys are doing well, as always. And let's switch over. All right, so we completed the first game, right? The Great Ace Attorney Adventures, and we got the not guilty verdict, right, for Gina, right? And fortunately, we had enough time to meet Susato. Because I think, there was some delays about I forgot what it was. There was something about delays. But anyways, we met Susato. And Susato was nearly on her way to leave. We talk about everything, what she did, about the cat flapper man and all that jazz. And at one point, we got down to the Morse code, right? Of the two discs, right? The mystery behind the two discs. And it turns out the Morse code was in Japanese, right? And that means, Great Britain, Japan, they both in cahoots in some way or another. But what was on the two discs was some names, namely Asogi, Gregson, Mr. Wilson. Assumably it would be Iris's dad, but who knows. And who else was it? Gregson, Asogi. There was a fourth name in there as well, but I forgot who it was. So let me see. So we left. Susato's doing her own thing in Japan now, and we're still in the old UK, right, in London. Let's see if we could get to the second game here. Resolve. Great Ace Attorney 2. Resolve. Alright.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court. Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you. My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
I face myself with another awful crime. Oh, hold up. What's her name? Elizabeth? I don't remember.
I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer.
Oh, shit.
So please, I ask for your guidance. Kazuma-sama.
The Adventure of the Blossoming Attorney. Episode 1. Who's dead? Who's that? Who's that grave? To her dad? Oh. Exactly. Is Susato's voice actor British? Because that you. He said yeah. That was very convincing. Alright, here I am again after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I feel so nervous. But I must steel my nerves and find a way to compose myself. Oh no, her dad's alive. It is Kazuma's grave. Yeah. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Oh, yes. Good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You could have fine figure, counsel. You look as white as a sheet, and those wide eyes aren't doing you any favors either. Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous. I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I'd never been born. Goodness. Not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Eugene Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advances in forensic medical science. And, of course, my brilliant father. Excuse me. Would I be correct in thinking that you're to be my lawyer in court today? Huh? Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. Miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear on me life. On me life. Don't worry. It's a complete fabrication, this whole thing. Don't worry, we're not in Britain yet. We can't say me life. Ray Membami. Born the same year as I and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman in our time, she works at the university research laboratory helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial. Accused of committing a truly awful murder. That's the image, right? Are you feeling alright? Since we started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. Oh my, it's just that you look so gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under my under your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She hasn't realized who I am. We see my little plan for this trial is going to work. Oh, wait, what do you mean, Professor Mikotoba? If even your best friend can see through your disguise, I think we can relax. Disguise? Yes, I've never tried dressing this way before, of course. But I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. Wait, hold on. I got... No, I forgot to do it. Never mind. As you say, Father, we need to, like, turn on the costumes. Father. We'll do it after this one, because Susato's got... She's got some mean drip. What? Is that you, Susato? I'm sorry, so sorry I didn't say something sooner, Ray. Alright, no. What are you doing? What's going on? What? That varsity uniform, the varsity cap, that varsity cape, the varsity badge. Look at you. You look for all the world, just like a student of the Imperial Yume University, a male student. I'm so glad you think so. It means all my preparations has been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see, it was the only way. The only way she would be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? I wonder what Susato's name going to be. Because she can't say Susato, right? Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. Horses in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom, despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. You don't get that there in Britain. In this world's Britain, I guess. But women are forbidden. Just for today, I'll be leaving my true self at the courtroom door, so that I can act as your lawyer. Oh, Susato. You go to such lengths for me? Of course, you're my greatest friend. I'm just worried that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. Oh no, I have complete faith in you. Ray. Ray. It's so strange though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. Yet, just because you're a woman, what a wretched reason. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. Ray? Please don't look at me like that with those flushed cheeks and dawning eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just... You really do look so dashing. Alright, yes, you mentioned that once or twice. Is that the dashing man himself, Cody Rhodes? Alright, you look so pleased. Should be pleased. You should be pleased. It means you look convincing as a man. I am pleased, I think. It certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Alright, Ray. You managed to put on a brave face in all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped and how you're trembling ever so slightly. I'm assuming we're going to get a tutorial section, aren't we? Zai, you do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder. Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I've absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. That means so much to me, Susato. Do I have a sword? Defendant? Counsel? Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It's time. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Oh. Stand aside! Whoa, she's going in quick. I don't think I've ever seen her run so fast. Alright, so Mikotoba, he's looking good. He's still alive. Well, Susato, you've clearly surprised your father. Going to such a length to be admitted into the courtroom and with no prior experience of being a lawyer. There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how he came to this. Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she's found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. As per usual, and I don't want to burden her with that. And is it true the reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was? What's the name? I forgot. I don't remember. We should be making a move now too. As you know, law is my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student. Thank you, father. Alright, we're getting in. 12 minutes in. I'm Susato Mikotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. 2 months ago, due to the unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. 2 months ago. How many times have I wished... This is still happening in the same year, right? How many times have I wished that he was... were here, I wonder. Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for another trial, for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naohodo-san. And you too, Kazuma-san. Kazuma-sama. Right, 13th August, 9 AM, pretty early. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 1. Yep. The court is now in session to hear the trial of Ray Membambi. What? The prosecution is ready to proceed, Your Excellency. Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready. Ready. Ah, yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is, Ryutaro Naohodo. Is that correct? Ryutaro? Sorry? Oh god, Cesar's got the same eyes. But yes, I had to come up with a suitable male name for you for this little venture. I'm afraid to say I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind. Ryutaro? So close. Yes, that's right. That's me. Yes, I'm Ryutaro. He who was vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naohodo clan. Ah. It seems Ryutaro may need to consider how better to uphold his manly act first, and not overdo it. Those wild, wide eyes aren't going to do any favors either. Just relax and listen. Naohodo. Fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. The name Naohodo. That perchance be... You may be thinking of Inosuke Naohodo, currently in Britain as part of the study program. This is his cousin. That's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the province. It was called to the capital for this trial. Yeah, wait, hold up. No. Everyone's names is... Alright. It's his... I don't even know. Is it possible? Oh, never mind. Never mind. Is it possible to have cousins that have this same last name? That sounds a bit ridiculous, but... Well, it depends if every person is... Yeah, never mind. Yeah, it depends if your... You know, your father's... Does this make sense? Your father's Your father's siblings were like, if he had brothers, that you would have the same last name technically, right? To your cousins, right? Oh, so confusing. Family trees. If you had a father, but everyone's, you know, his siblings were all sisters, then you would be the only person technically to have that last name that's been passed down, right? Right? I'm so nervous. Now I'm standing in his shoes. I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Yeah. Like it or not, eyes are won't wait. What? Eyes are wont to flit. Eyes are not what? What? Huh? My English. Alright, in fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may well affect the future of our empire. Just like that trial 9 months ago, and yet for proceedings of such importance, we'll have this. Unknown yokel by the dock, dear me. Determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in the courtroom. Alright, 9 months ago, when a certain other Naruhodo stood where you're standing now. Same judge tested him as well. Makes sense? Pass the test with flying colors. Alright, we ain't... This is the tutorial right here. I mean... Counsel, do you consent to answering? Oh, my cape is off. Alright, it's time to prove myself. Yes, Your Excellency, but please do make it simple. Very well, to start with, you'll state the name of the victim. Ooh, that is simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried. Well, I don't know what it is. Yeah, she doesn't remember. What's the matter? Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand something else Naruhodo goes through. Like it or not, mine's are won't to blank. I won't to blank. Not English though. I'm surprised really, it's your first time in this position. Even a bright spot. Yeah. Tell me how to get into the car records. This is a dismal future. Don't fret. You only need to use the knowledge you've gained as a judicial assistant to overcome the problem. Of course, the court record. The answer will be amongst the key information about this case, the court record. Use RB to open it. Alright. Oh, damn. Alright, come on, get to it. Alright. Okay, who is it? Yes, is... Alright, that's her name. Jeziel, whatever her name is. Don't know why I got her... Yeah, the victim of the case, who was a former British exchange student. Huh. 9 months ago, she was found guilty. Jezail? Jezza? We'll just call her Jezza. The victim is this person. Yes! The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Jezza Brad. Jezail Brad. What's her name? How do you pronounce it? A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of this country, it seems. Correct. And being a member of the Empire's Judicacy, you are well aware of the significance of that name. Yep. Another simple question. Why then? Why is the name... What? Associated with your own Empire's judicial history? Yeah, that case from 9 months ago. She killed... Mr. Wilson, right? Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything. Killer. Yes! 9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University was killed. And the culprit was... Mrs. Brad. Mrs. Brad? Miss Brad. She was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain, and it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. Dr. John H. Wilson was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikatoba. Yeah, he was. I was in debt to the man. He's been my mentor ever since I went to London to study forensic medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our side was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed, it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted. A student of the Imperial Yume University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Minosuke Naruhodo. No wonder his English is good. He's an English student. I'm pretty sure I knew that long ago. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer. He got Miss Brent, Mrs. Brent, Miss Brent. I don't know why I call her Mrs. for some reason again. Eventually admitted to her crime. However, when the question about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, she gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion. Must be to do with that government secrets on the 2 disc, right? It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead. Why Shanghai? There's a British consular called there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The day of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. All that remained of our empire's obligations was to see the woman's safety on board of a steamship. Sheep. And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed. Before her departure? Only the day before. Alright. Took a while, didn't it? A few months. That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel for the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant. Oh. Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle. Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Auchi? This is your wish, Your Excellency. The punishing crime took place on the 11th August in broad daylight. On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky, at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut, erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung. An injury which proved fatal. Jeez. There were 2 persons alone together in the beachhead at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett, in her bathing attire. And the accused, Ray Membami. Ray Membami. Remember me. Is that what it says? Remember me? Is that the pun? Ray Member. Remember me? Remember me. Yeah, remember me. It's pretty funny. That's certainly true, the prosecution summary. It's full of words that raised an awful lot of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution's counsel on what he said about. I don't remember. Hello? According there's no doubt. Alright, let's hear the powerful motive. You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful moment is a blatant overstatement. Is the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand? I beg your pardon. No matter. Let's put this to the accused, shall we? Mambi-san. You are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe. Yes, I am. I'm working with Professor Mikatoba in his laboratory at the moment. I can confirm that the defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility. Fascinating to hear. Now, another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikatoba, whose research were you assisting then? Oh, I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson. Oh. Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago? Damn. Yeah, that is, I see where that's going. The accused had a deep-seated respect for our former mentor, Dr. Wilson. that not true? Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man. Interesting. Then tell the court what deep-seated feelings you had towards the Englishwoman who killed him. Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she did. What she'd done. A powerful hatred. Oh no, Ray, be careful what you're saying. Yeah, There you go. The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency. Well, it was clearly a trap all along. Well, how wicked of him to use Ray's undying respect for our former mentor against her like that. Must find out more details and something we can use to bolster our defense. As a lawyer, we ought to pick out the counsel, alright. Being alone together. Mamambi-san. Yes, what is this? Naohodo-san. I really start to wish we made my alias Riado Susato. Utaro Susato. Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place. Why you were alone with her? Oh. Well, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present, a detective who was guarding Miss Bread for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Bread as a companion, that's all. But let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there is only one reason why this young woman occupied Miss Bread on her bathing sojourn. Sojourn? It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life. No. Because as we know, the following day would see Miss Bread whatever. To the British authorities in Shanghai. And the accused would never had the opportunity to dispatch her again. Kindly refrain from conjecture, counsel. The prosecution counsel seems to enjoy using provocative tricks like that. Now, for now, at least, we need to assemble more facts. Try not to let him goad you. Oh dear, this is really terrifying, but Father's right. We need more information. As a lawyer, bathing spot. Prosecutor Alchi. What do you want, you fresh-faced young yokel student? I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot. Ah, my apologies. Clearly my modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skins. No, that's not what I meant. I was referring to the fact that Miss Bread had, to all intents and purposes, been found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea? All time's sakes, I believe. Sorry? Miss Bread was to depart from Shanghai the following day. The final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast. And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply. But what on the grounds, what grounds would we agree to such a request? Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up to foreign powers. In matter of diplomacy, it seems we don't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. But don't look at me, Professor. It was the government who granted permission, not I. In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing can go wrong. Don't tell me it was Hosanaga. But in fact, the murder took place. I said, don't look at me. It was that young student girl who did it, not I. No one has proved that yet. I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to. I believe we have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration, instead continuing her research work at the university. Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions. Seeing the murder of the mentor for whom she had such great respect, enjoying such undeserved liberty. Yes, even if it was only temporary, until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai. can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment. Oh, Ray. Remember. So your ex is safe. You look so kind to pursue the exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident. Oh yeah, it is a bathing suit. But she still kept the hat on. As you can see, there is nowhere within the hood that anyone could have hidden. In the sand. The court will accept this photographic print as evidence. Damn. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. This is deeply troubling, I must say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant. Well, Your Excellency, naturally, the prosecution has much more to its case. We intend to prove the accusation accused... What the hell? The accusation of the accused of pulling actions beyond all possible contention. I'm feeling tired, man. I don't feel like talking. We confirm we have multiple witnesses to the crime. Alright, witnesses and evidence. Highly respected. It better be Hosanaga. It better be. If that's the case, it's going to be 100% Hosanaga. Alright. I haven't forgotten that trial 9 months ago here in the very courthouse. When that irrelevant little student boy utterly humiliated me. Whatever. Right, he grew his hair. No skating out, Hodo. Oh, yes. This insult to the Yalchi family name will never be forgotten. It's like you've become conceited with age. Conceited? What did you say? How you say it? Conceited. That's not how you say it. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. Conceited. Is that how you say it? Yeah, you never forget that. And he cut his hair. Yeah, there we go. Poor Kazuma. Strike the head of the samurai whose top knot has been cut and the bell of cultural alignment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died. The start of your own mini Meiji revolution. Are you modernizing as well, Council? Silence. Since I swore revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop of my head. Observe the Alchi Grove. Yeah, you see. The seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown. I think that tiny grove is trying to tell me something. I'm afraid I can't really see. Where's the hope exactly? It said silence. Today, I face another yokel student of the Naruhodo clan. Well, I will vanquish you. Imagine getting wrecked by someone who's not even a part of the Naruhodo clan, but is pretending to be the Naruhodo clan. Imagine losing to that. Looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. Yeah, makes sense, yeah. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose. A haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life. It's true. What is it? Death sentence? Oh, yeah, it's Hosanaga. Oh! It's Stimidrig. It's Natsume. I wasn't expecting him to be here so early. Satoru Hosanaga. Yeah. Oh, he's got a tail on his head. And I am, well, the next big thing in the books. An author, renowned throughout the capital. In fact, yes. Soon to be sold, this, oh my god. What's going on here? He's got like a, the satirical I Am a Cat. A sensational success by Sosuke Natsume. Oh my goodness. Struggling student from the province, please. You needn't be in awe of me. I needn't? It's only natural that you feel nervous in my presence, but all of you, please relax. Call me Suzeki, even. Yes. What on earth is Suzeki-san doing here? Tread carefully, Susato. That awful fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun. Yes, of course, I know. I presume Suzeki-san won't have forgotten about me. I could certainly never forget him. Though he does seem to have changed somewhat. He seems a bit high up his ass, honestly. And as for the Inspector Hosonaga, he seems the same. That's amazing outfit is. Hard to believe. It's the stripes, man. Do I have something on my face? Well, your glasses for one. Although they don't seem to be helping you, see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either. Ah, I suppose it's this disguise, is it? I thought that appearing here in the clothes I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony. It's my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Yeah, at least Saseki got the, who is it? The paparazzi on him. He's got a cameraman on him. What business did a writer such as yourself begin at the seat, Saseki-san? Well, you see, I had been asked that day to give a lecture on the morning of the incident in the Imperial Yume University Grand Lecture Hall, no less. At Yume University? Is he actually renowned? Well, it must be now. After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with a researcher from the medical science department. The professor over there, in fact. With my father, Mr. Professor Mikoto. Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about two former students who studied in Great Britain. Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leave me alone. The secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scooper my privacy. My privacy. Ah. As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Read it at your leisure, my provincial. Oh god. Let me search that up. He's practically threw that paper at me. Let me get there.
Provincial.
Alright, never mind. I got that wrong. Provincial. This is what it was. You heard the bond. It's provincial. You continue to work in my laboratory under strict surveillance. I'm gonna order. I feel tired. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna talk through hour here. Let's just do some casual, very casual commentary. All right. I've never seen that awful sight. Racked by my remorse and regret. All I know, it could be the cameraman here who was taking the pictures. All right, witness testimony coming up. You see, Suzuki seems like traumatized. Alright, on the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. So I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a crater wall from behind me. I went to the beach hurdles once where I found the pair in question. Yes, that young girl was astride the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. She stabbed the victim multiple times. Let me guess. It was stabbed once. Yeah. Okay. We got it. It's easy. No need to press here. Indeed. It does appear from this testimony that both witnesses here present saw it. Alright, it's not multiple times though. Damning evidence. What's with this pen? Alright, she was holding it. So-called fountain pen. Goodness me. She's holding a pen. Yeah, what does that fountain pen have to do with anything? Oh, examine. The owner's initial has been engraved in the ebonite fowl. RM. Ray Mamambi. The initials of the defendant. That's her pen. No! Oh god, Susato does that as well. Gets hit on the back. This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. No! So, have I admitted everything? Besides the testimony, damning evidence? Bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel. I don't understand. The prosecutor told you of 9 months ago. Had none of this man's voice. Voice? Oi? Isn't that right? Oh, I hope that's right. I can't. Oh. Now Hodo-san. Now Hodo. That means... Oh, yes. Me. Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom? Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom. Cousin Ryoto. Ryoto? I don't know why I said that. Ryotaro. Mixing over with Susato. We should just call it Ryoto Susato. Pull yourself together, please. Ryotaro. Alright, I've seen this clever... Oh, I know the contradiction already. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do. Alright, I got you. It's alright. I got the contradiction.
Objection!
Very posh. With that accusatory cry that just welled up from deep inside me, I think I finally understand. Every time Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san have stood here at this bench, the stakes may have been very, very high indeed. The stakes. Oh, new music though. I like this. What's the meaning of that menacing pose, counsel? I'd like the witness to clarify something for me. Who? What? Where? When? How? Not you, Suzuki-san. The Koei's director at Inspector Hosonaga. In your statement just now, you would say that the victim was stabbed multiple times. Yes, that's right. As I said when I entered the hub, the defendant was already standing over the victim, bloody knife in hand, like a murderous demon. And yet, that cannot be. What? Get to the point, please, counsel. In the post-mortem report, it clearly states that the victim stabbed one time only. In other words, Inspector Hosanaga's testimony is clearly flawed. New music and Sasaki-san. Me? You claim to have seen Mamambi-san's in the throes of stabbing the victim. Yes, yes I did. Wildly. Both of you and the inspector confirmed the same point. That there was already blood on the knife that you saw the defendant holding. Yes, and? It's quite simple. We know the murder weapon was used to stab the victim only once. Therefore, there's no way there could have been blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred. I don't get it. What happened? There's no way there could be blood on the knife if that single stabbing hadn't already occurred. Alright, so they saw blood. I don't remember. Well, Sasaki-san, in fact, was not mentioned at the moment the defendant stabbed the victim at all. But the moment that the defendant, in fact, withdrew the blade from the victim's body. Alright, okay, I get that. That can't be. Excellent work, Susato. You explored them. Hey, he's down there, Mikitoba. That sounded like like the Monokuma for a second there. Well, that takes me back. Yes, I seem to remember your cousin staged a scene much like this in the trial 9 months ago. A half-witted child with a half-baked objection attempting to steal the show. You're right, there were certainly similarities. Except that so-called half-witted child managed to outwit the prosecution. Has only half a head of hair. Slander. My head is quite adequately dressed. Any case, all this talk of stabbing and withdrawing there makes not draw the difference. Okay. Engage your brain, young man. When the accused first pulled the deadly weapon and the victim was the fatal blow. And it was that moment, just as she withdrew the blade ready for her next strike, that the witness saw. The knife was already tainted with blood because the accused had already stacked the victim. Alright. Sad that mustache author is prone to moments of extravagance. I am in agreement with the prosecution. If the defendant was seen wielding a blade at all, that is sufficient grounds for her actions to be viewed with suspicion. But if she withdrew the yeah, I'm not gonna talk. I feel tired. So tired. I need to like lie back. If the student girl is innocent as you claim, then why would she have pulled the blade from the victim and the demon's cold blood composure? It demands an explanation, and it had better be good. Why did Ray pull out the knife? Ah, yes. Going for the jugular. Huh? What does father mean by that? The truth is, I don't really know. I have to come up with a plausible reason here. Oh, we don't have a case. Well, let's time to magnify glass everything. Oh, the newspaper here. The Suzuki here. Yeah, this is fully Japanese. Anything I can see? I see no there. What's that? Now. See? Eyes. You should those. Alright. Why the defendant pulled the knife blade out of the victim's body was surely so she could. Oh god. Save her life, possibly? According to the post-mortem report, the victim's death was not instant. That's correct. It's thought she would have remained conscious for a short while after sustaining an injury. Alright, get the autoplay on. The point is, being a medical research assistant, Membe-san was compelled to act when faced with the wounded victim. Distinctly, she pulled the blade out in an attempt to save Miss Brett's life. Is it wrong? Is it just me, or does the city feel much colder in here? Excellency, if I may. Alright. I don't think I've lost a life there, though. Alright, another testify. Modicum. But in matters of medicine, he appears to possess not one iota. Iota? You will testify again before the court on the subject of the defense counsel's assertion. Yes, sir. I would do so flawlessly. Yeah, is that an actual turtle on his head? I think it is. Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could have caused heavy bleeding. Yeah, basic knowledge that any medical research assistant... Yeah, but isn't Dimijig... Man. Alright, the mentor. Is what you said true, Inspector? Could pulling a knife from a wound really cause the wound to bleed heavily? Yeah, that's true. Think of the weapon itself as a stopper in the wound that prevents excessive blood loss. That's true. If you get stabbed, don't pull that shit out. And if you get stabbed in the head, don't pull it out. Yeah, and you see, I'll pull the blade out of wounds, so. Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a man did. Either. Is it true what they're telling me? Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems impossible to believe, but... Could my friend actually have... Susato? Yes, don't shout out loud. Put yourself together. Maybe Susato and Rutaro sound so similar. Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination. Will do. Yes, Your Excellency. I will be moving my adjudication immediately afterwards. Seems like that sounds like a press every thing. Press every statement. Alright, pulling the blade from the wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. You say doing it without thinking could be a problem. Doesn't mean that if you use due care and attention, it will be alright. The blade is likely to stop it in the wound. Remove it and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, the medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. Just can't do it. Well, thank you for such a thorough explanation.
Hold it!
It's not possess an ounce of sense. What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoa? I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense. Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer. I don't know young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it. Careful, counsel. Our lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing. I don't like how he's using that gravel. That's life, I'm afraid. Lesson everyone must learn. Hopefully you can see now that it really is basic medical knowledge. Is that no good reason?
Hold it!
Leading to death. sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities. I don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. Alright. Prerogative. You have a lot learned about women. Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views. Oh dear, perhaps I'm letting my male persona take a hold a little too much. Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? I should cover the medical side of the argument.
Hold it!
Guess we'll just press every statement here.
Objection!
Reiterate. Misread in many ways was the SWAT enemy. Alright, wait. Is this new statement? No. Maybe this one. No. I have nothing.
Hold it!
I think it's just gonna be press everything, right? Can't find a single crack in the testimony anywhere. If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life, just can't think of any way to explain why she did it. Yeah. What's the fundamentals? I only got this. This is the only best one. What else we got here? Drunk? I know what to do. In. See, it's coming back to you. Go through the court records and have a thorough look at everything. You may find a clue. Oh god. But wait. Alright, cause heavy bleeding. Let's hear. Single dab behind pierced the lung, resulting in fatal hemorrhaging. Alright, here we go, the pen. It's on an emblem here. Alright, doesn't... Alright, there we go. And that's it. Let's take off the cap. Let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? Oh, damn. Excuse me, it's a test tube? Oh my god, it's a syringe. You can feel ink from the ball up from the nib. Something wrong, Father? I don't think that's how a barrel looks like, I don't think. Does it actually... Wait. Could be the verge of running out, I suppose. Huh. Oh, the RM. Alright, we got the paper here. Looks as though it was quite an exchange. He became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. The photographer managed to capture the moment his hand cried, shot me on the neck. I do hope you weren't hurt. Yep. This is the newspaper from Suzuki-san. This seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen. Uh-oh. Getting a lot of information here. Stolen. Poison. Stolen. You didn't know? As embarrassing it is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard such a thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information? Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there? It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. I put Ray in charge of the project. Ray? She was managing it. If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, deals were leaked somehow. I don't believe it. We need to read this article very carefully. How about opening? I think we're done there. Scene of the crime. Nothing here. Following a lecture has been stolen. Via mouth or wounds from a poison-laced blade would it prove fatal in minutes. Let's see, read that again, the final one. Starting impaired breathing and ending acute contraction of the pupils, yeah. Alkaloids. I don't even know where you would do this basic knowledge. There's no good reason. It had a motive. Is it this? It must be. I don't have many more. It must be this.
Objection!
Yeah, there it is. No, there's one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to... Yeah, but this is not helping. This is not helping our cause.
Objection!
What pad? Oh boy. Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just a cause. The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says... well, I've got to read into it. I think it's this. Deadly in quality. Deadly in tiny quantities. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with poison, its rapid absorption... It's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting if the knife used to attack Miss Bread was laced with the very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Membami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible? Yes, the truth is, it was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. Alright. Putting a spin to it, eh? This is complete and utter nonsense. Not at all. The defendant withdrew the knife blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility. Have you not read the post-mortem report? The death was hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document. Well, that's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the poison from taking hold. Oh, please, this is clearly desperation. The weasel last breaking of wind. Poison has nothing to do whatsoever with this case, as I believe the defenses were aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyways. In what situation what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicious then, or the argument makes no sense. Exactly. Well put, Exactor. On what grounds did you do it, huh? Yokel? Why did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved? If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. What? You can't possibly. Yep, I got you. From your expression, counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. This is a pen right here. I'm well aware of that. I've seen him many times from my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
Take that!
How exactly would you explain this piece of evidence connection to the newspaper article? In truth, I'm not really sure. Well, it's wrong. Oh, come on. Didn't I not examine the thing? Had details of the toxin. Now, where have we seen similar details? All right. Okay. It's the autopsy report. Is it? I don't know. I'll do...
Take that!
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, the postmortem. Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that most certainly unusual, yes. What are you doing, you yokel detective? In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occur in minutes, ending with acute contraction of pupils prior to death. If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, to notice the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely. Yes, as a medical research student, she would have suspected poison immediately without a doubt. Alright. Very compelling evidence. You, yokel student, you and yokel professor. Professor? I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defense actions. Eugene Mikitoba. Yes, Your Excellency. I do believe you are placed here to confirm or deny the, whatever it is, of the defense counsel's argument. pains me to have admitted that I am afraid I don't know. You don't know? The veracity. The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the courts that the reports of the theft are unfound? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say. Listen to the bubbling academics. Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads it in the newspaper. I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision. Alright, Father. A pitiful situation for me, for a university professor. You should have more control over your students rather than allowing them off on killing sprees. That's totally unfounded. Oh. Big hold in. It's Ray. No, this is Professor Mikitoba. It's all my fault. Mbambi-san, you stood accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated. But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day. What? So you knew? I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Suzaki-san were interviewing together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was. Why didn't you let me know immediately? I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So I decided to try and get it back before anyone else found out. I had a very good idea who the thief was. Thief? You don't mean? Yes, of course. It was the Dani English woman. Alright. That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Instead, inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brad. She just sat on the stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. I knew it was you who stole the poison. Well now. Whatever do you mean? And then, she suddenly got to her feet before falling to her knees in front of me and then collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in the back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they shrunk to tiny pinpoints. I don't believe it. In other words, you realized that the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison. My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's list whilst I've been with her, which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back. Yeah, and the train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade. Yes. If the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really. I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time. Alright. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end. Alright, thank you. Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I'll do, I think. I do think the balance has shifted a little more here. Excellency, do not be deceived! The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say. Well, Mamami-san, if that's the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed. Well, you have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge. You have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? Oh, no, he does, apparently. Oh, I have evidence. And it's very much conclusive. What's the prosecution counsel thinking now? It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it. Another witness, I mean? I don't know, let's find out. Perhaps some praise is due, young local student. I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. You brought this on yourself. What the? Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on the beach is almost palpable. Hey, we can see Miss Brett there. This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused murderous nature. Well, it shows the precise motive that Mamami-san plunged her dagger. What if she's taking it out? Oh, that's not true. I don't believe it. What if she's pulling it out? Oh boy. Oh boy. This courtroom. Order, order, order. Perhaps his voice has yet to break. These yokers are slow of mind and slow to mature. Man, I haven't hit puberty. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna have that. Ah! I'll show you. Careful now, Susato. It's time to show her face here. It's often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Ample proof. Can't believe he had a photograph like this up his sleeve the entire time. It's such a stark image. I'm generally lost for words. Wait a minute. I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph? Attention! There's no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention. Oh. That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photograph of Prim was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the photographer who's been taking shots at Natsume. Well, I'm afraid I can't do that. Oh, question mark. Pardon? Are we to understand then, counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believe it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court? When you first produced the print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment, because you knew it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you? Silence, you yokel student and blabbering professor. What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expressed. The defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Yeah. Hey, this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but the moment it was withdrawn? Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings. Indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene who captures it, without a doubt, the most compelling evidence presented to the court. If the defense is unable to shed any further lighting on this matter, I believe the conclusion is here. It's clear. What? Zato, this is the time for you to fight. Alright, what you established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim, yeah? Yes, we just need to prove that somehow. You have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the province. And to rue the day you come against Takatsuchi Auchi in court of law. In a court of law. If you can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial is going to come up to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be somewhere working out who took it. But in questioning who took that photograph, and the truth is... I don't know, right? Or is that I have an answer? Well, we'll find out. We'll go with now. I'll never be able to look Ray in the eye again. You need to steel yourself and summon your best argument. I'll do my best. This isn't about whether I can do it or can't. If I can or cannot. Can't or can't. I can and can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal. What? No, you can't possibly. But as you boldly claim that you can, please, do enlighten us. Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name. Oh, utterly indwelling. Did you really believe you can... However, I'm able to present evidence. Defense has a piece of evidence that reveals the important details of the photographer's identity. What? What? Very well then, counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence that claims to reveal something about the... I'm guessing it's this, right?
Take that!
What is that? Newspaper again? Yep. It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there's some white lines on the right-hand side. Oh, I never clicked that. Yeah, you're right. I never clicked that. Oh, yes, indeed. They had already caught my eye, as it happens. I thought, well, it was just down to... down to the process of elimination. Sorry that took so long. Think about it. It's exactly the same pattern lines. Yeah. It's the same photographer, right? Oh, it's a camera defract, yeah. It's smashed. Or scratched.
Objection!
And one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article. That's right. The author of the article is the mystery witness to this crime. Alright, makes sense. Who said that? Memo. See why you called her, yeah, England's returnee. You, what are you on about? Many memo, I tell you, many memo. Mo. Zaki-san. What was that? Did you say many memo? Ever since I returned to Japan, a report from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. Reported by the name of Raiten Menimomo. Writing Menimomo. Many memos. Yes, he's handing me Gone to Dusk. Writing many momos. Alright. It's many Momo. Alright, yes, Your Excellency. Many Momo. Many Momo. Alright, the first to be continued. I assume we have to go through 2. Oh, damn. I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Ray. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decide to shoulder the burden alone. No, that's not it at all. I'm scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. Alright. So I hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what I said? You said, Susato, that you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence, that you stand by me by to the last. I remember. Yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me to the floor. No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. I'm no better, you know. Oh. Even though in my heart I knew you pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. There was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato, I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I stand by you and always be on your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. Oh no, no. I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task. Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray? Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Alright. Is that some tears I see? Oh, Susato. You know, you'll always be Galleon, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray. Oh, Rolly. I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well, now, whatever do you mean? Then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. Alright, and you were the only people in the hut at the time? That's right, just Miss Brett and myself. There's no one else. So I just don't know how she could have possibly been stabbed like that. A great mystery indeed. I still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. It will be alright. However, it happened. Whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you said you saw is true. Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Now, I think we should discuss what coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't know much. We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order. Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. Yeah, a new blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see. Yes, without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Chemical reagent? I sent a colleague of mine off with it earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps You have some as well. Should have some as well. Just in case. Alright, new poison. An indicator. Alright. What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet. This is a newspaper article. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. It was all the English woman's doing. What? It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at a laboratory. That so-called English lady swarmed in, and without any compunction said to Professor Mikitoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guests would love to hear about your work on the substance there." Well, it put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction. So then Soseki-san knew about the poison. Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin as well. This many memo-san. By the way, did the reporter join you at all? You all when you went to the beach? No, I don't remember the reporter being there. Indeed, he should have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there, yeah. I know criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki-san pointed out that an inviting reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet he obviously didn't go back. He seemingly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. And then presumably he posted anonymously to the police. Ah. Yes, that must have been what happened. Counsel, we've just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. Trial's about to resume. Please proceed into the courtroom at once. It's time to steel ourselves once again, then. Defense attorney, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Yes. Alright. So I can't let it down. I have to prove what really happened that day. What really happened that day. Alright, sorry about that. What news? And why does he look so happy about it? During the recess with the collaboration of Professor Mikitoba laboratory at the Yume University, police re-examined the knife that was used to end Ms. Giselle's Brett's life. I admire your rapid handling of the matter. Alright, I have the region. Is it the region? How do you say it? We'll find out. Region.
Reagent.
Never mind. Reagent? Never mind. Oh, yeah, it is reagent. But judging by the man's swagger, I fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable. In council, what were the results? This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, had no poison. Yeah. What? Are you sure about that? I would stake the reputation of the police on it. Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. You couldn't have made a mistake. In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed. Alright. How could the toxin have entered the victim's body? The pen! The pen! Yeah, there he is. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the card. Write in many memo of the Shoyu News. I'm what people like you call a journal. A journal, fellow, do you know? It's simply a contraction of journalist. I'm there where the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops so they're in the print in the next morning. They don't call me a hero of the Herald for nothing. Nice guy of news. Oh, so, it was you who took this photograph, was it? Well, well, what do we have here? I'm sorry? Oh, brace yourself, people. Many memos sense a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play. Defended by Kirsty, handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. The readers will lap this up. We'll set it above the fold at 72. Point in a 5-leg format for the morning edition. Huh? Too many words. Too many lingo. Let's start with your name. Oh, it's View Tower Naruhodo. Next, what made you want to become a lawyer? Well, I want to reform our country's legal system, I suppose. Ryu Taro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see. I just borrowed Kazuma's dream for a while. By the way, my name is Takesuchi Auchi. That's Takesuchi Auchi. That's the so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear in every defense lawyer's heart. Does it really? So I don't give a shit about you. No, the readers won't buy that. Yeah. Witness? Yes? The court demands to know, is this whether your picture here? It is. You know, the best part is that pen, that little ink on his hand. I think this guy did it. Oh, it is him who did it. I don't think we have any more witnesses coming through. Alright, that's what RM means. Right hand, yeah, it's easy. This is a shut-down case here. Move along, this guy's the killer. He must be some kind of spy. This horse dung. This country's judiciary is run to this court. The Supreme Court's ruling aren't worth the paper they're written on. Wow, stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play. Huh. Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words that she said in my many moment something. Are you ready? I will read it out loud. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. A serious criminal going on some junket. That's why I decided to sneak after them. Get the woman's story, I could hammer her in the press. Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photograph. Yeah, it's gonna be... I don't think so. I don't think not. Give me your statement. The testimony. Beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps to go around. The Englishwoman was sitting on the stool while the young student started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. A slumbering Journo spirit burst into flames, quick as a flash. Pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot. Read screens, you say? You see them clearly enough in this great shot I snapped. The walls, HUD screen. Well, yeah, okay. Knowing for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved, did you witness everything that happened from the moment that the defendant entered the HUD? Oh yes, I saw it. I saw the whole damn thing from start to finish. And you say that you took the photograph through the gap in one of the things. We said one of the screens. Yeah, lucky for me, they were pretty shoddy woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust my lens through the gap. Would I get away with it, or would I have been seen with the flashes? I don't know. You better turn off that flash. Alas, it would appear we have a genuine witness to the wicked crime. Evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. What's the verdict? No. Exclusive news, a startling photograph. All the makings of an exceptional story from the reporter. Why then was the story never published? Oh, that's right. It is clear to me that there are some circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood. Camera never lies, huh? Shoddy old read screens, so they were playing gaps. We're sitting on the stool. Hold it. Alright, let's come here. You swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place. Ah, the precise moment? I didn't see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out. From start to finish. I have here a simple plan at the beach HUD. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed. Right, you are. It's all here in my many memo pad. Alright. Your Excellency, if I may. Yes, Professor? I think the witness' last expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to his formal testimony. Alright. I will grant the defense request. Any moment, San, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement. Alright? Nihilism. Is this the pen?
Objection!
There we go. Minimomo-san, until now, I've had a firm belief the newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth. You're spot on there. The press don't lie. Which is why I'm proud to wear this emblem of the show you use on my arm. Alright, you get fucked. Get fucked here. Sadly. Seems that the journalist who writes for those papers is a fucking liar. Don't always share the same passion as for the truth. Always suggesting with those recriminatory words, counsel. Minimomo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen? This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murder victim was gripping it in her hand and she died. If you look at the bow of the pen, you notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. R.M. Yes, thank you for bringing that up, counsel. The initial of the accused, Ray Memambi. Memambi. Ray Memambi. No. Yes. Yes. Raiten Minimomo. RM. Austin, can't you see? One of the central tenets of Minimoism is being a pencil user. And yeah, as the card will clearly able to see on your right hand, there's a very obvious blue ink stain. It appeared that you rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is. Minimomo-san, is it not the case that before she died, you met Jezol Brent in the bitch room? Why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse. Exactly. Show Your News will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. There must be many people with the initials RM. Nope. Defense has neither the time nor the inclination to count every star in the sky. And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yet there is another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who the owner is. Yep, in that case, counsel, the defense will show the court where the alleged clue lies. Of course, Your Excellency. Clue on this fountain pen that clearly reveals its owner's identity is... Alright, let's just... Yeah, there you go. As well as the initials, there is also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that you, of course, recognize, Minimomo-san. Of the Show You News Network. In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Show You News. His initials are RM. Certainly the stars in the night sky didn't seem so numerous, do they? Well, Minimomo-san, how do you respond? So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets? I've used nothing but honest tactics. Alright then, fine. I won't try to hide it anymore. Yes, not long before that grim tragedy unfolded. I, a Show You News reporter on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman. An interview? You never mentioned this before. What exactly was it? As I said, it was before or when. Before that little evil student girl showed up her face in the hut. Couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes, that's all. It was just a brief exchange. Then it came to nothing, as many mostists say that people don't pay their dues for unworthy news. However insignificant you deem to be, this card cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under the oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired. Got it, yes. Alright, but on one condition. Condition? In all good conscience, I cannot speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witnesses, Suzeki Natsume. Suzeki-san. Yeah, look at this guy. It's not a harmless one, it's big. I wonder what it is. Many Moism states that one man's secret is another man's front page story. Uzbekistan hiding something. I guess we'll call it off after this one. We'll hear the testimony. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she could decline. So I left the HUD without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witness coming in. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran to fetch help. That's when this right man here asked the woman a very significant question. He didn't say anything about it in his testimony, which is why many Momism demands that I reveal it now. Alright, reveal it, little bitch. Incriminates the accused. Yeah, why did you mention before? You yokel hack. It wasn't even a conversation. Yes, I did pose the withering English Rose a question. I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even. Oh, alright. Must have said like, who did this to you or something. Alright, I'm gonna go to the fourth line. What could have happened in the HUD?
Hold it!
What question? What exactly did he say? Well, now, you shouldn't hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Riderman? Alvin, you yokel hack, what did you say to her? What did you say to the dying Englishwoman? Well, in truth, I've been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see. Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose. Even for a grown man. Then all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, the young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the airs. Ray. I ran up to the beach to see what's happening. I found the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosanaga saw Miss Brett on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. Then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. A moan from the dead Englishwoman. I nearly jumped down my skin. But what did you ask her, Suzaki-san? I asked her, who did this to you? Yeah, how did the woman respond? She didn't. She said nothing in response. But when the stand, you will answer the question asked of you unambiguously. Now, without invasion or what's that? Recitant. Oh, what the hell? I demand you to amend your testimony. I will. I asked her who does this to you, but she never replied. She's trying to find out who the culprit was. You who asks a question is a fool for a minute. You who doesn't nod remains a fool forever. I've been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain. I was quick to make up my mind. Better be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever. However, you indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct? I know why. I know why the Englishwoman said nothing. She was ignoring me because of my stupid mustache. Because I'm Japanese. Oh dear. Uzbekistan has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems. Having read the report on his time in Britain, I can't say I'm surprised at his xenophobia. Alright, sorry about that. I'm just pressing buttons. But the Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Ironman? Well, yes, alright. She did respond in the manner of speaking, I suppose. She just lifted a trembling spear and pointed in the direction of the defendant.
Hold it!
Miss Brett pointed her finger at the defendant. Suzeki-san, is that really true? Say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, far side of her, who did this to you? The English woman summoned her last ounce of strength to point at the trembling finger at the back of the hut, which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today. Yeah, that's correct. Zeki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony? But, fiddlesticks, I say. This is not British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Yes, of course, the Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everything else was a blur. And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. Somewhere at the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all. You mean that your memory of events and the direction in which the victim was pointing at are both unclear? Yes, that's it, unclear. I'm very, very unclear. Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious. And yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly. There can be no doubt that when this was attempted by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant, why? Because as the court sees, there was no one else than it. You stupid little man, Alchie. You stupid little man. Don't worry, Susato, we got this. Who else was at the back of the damn hut? This little shit right here. Many Momo. I'll do this. Maybe we could get to the end of this. Who knows? If he makes another testimony, we'll end it. What's his name? Mini Momo. I know what we're looking for here, but clue we need. Let's see this. Wait, can I examine this? All right. Okay. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brad was killed. I was going to call her Miss Bennett. She suddenly got to her feet. And fell forward, yeah. How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in the beach hut that was empty for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid all the information we gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question. I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add? So, the gallant yokel student luck finally runs out and I can say I'm surprised. In that case, I'm ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter. This is a crucial turning point now. Can't establish what really happened. It's over. Where was the real culprit hiding and how did he or she stab the victim?
Objection!
I know how. Who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture. Implicate? Oh, never mind. An alternative theory? Ha! None exists. There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime. One? And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction. This is fiction, fantasy. Very well, as you seem so sure yourself, Counsel. I am prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryutaro Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency? Ryutaro. Will present your latest theory. the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing? Outside.
Take that!
It's in this area here. There, counsel? Oh no, the eyes. I should have done it behind, actually. Never mind, we'll take a loss from that. I suggest we begin to say where the victim was in the moments leading up to the death. Yeah, okay. Right behind her. Right here.
Take that!
There we go. Now Hodder-san would never give up. I am now Hodder now. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Bread. Concealed in this location here. Are you mad, counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hood? What? Order, order, order! The student lawyer now Hodder Esquire. That makes no sense at all. You just pointed out the exact spot where I was trying to get my scoop snap. I didn't see any suspicious individual lowering around, I can swear to that. Honestly, if the culprit had been outside the hood, there's no way he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hood. Actually, Prosecutor Alchi, there is a way. And, in point of the fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that's precisely the way Miss Bread was killed. You're bluffing. You're bluffing, you yokel. Oh, we can get to the end of this quick, maybe. More guidance, counsel. Oh shit, I don't even know. The pen?
Take that!
No, it's not the pen. I think it was the photo, actually. I'm getting this mixed up. No, no, no. I think it's the photo, right? Your theory is correct, and the knife was thrust into Miss Brett's back from the outside hood. There should be a visible trace somewhere. Yeah. Alright. I got you. Getting it mixed up. We'll get to the point of the pen. Go on ahead. This. Oh no, it's not. That's the trace. Literally the trace. Alright. I don't even know. I guess we look at this, right? This must be the victim's blood. Oh dear. Blood is never a pretty sight, is it? I'm having to fight the urge to run it under a hot tap. And you've always been fastidious. Can you say it? Fastidious. It's German, so your knowledge of English is going to be a little help here, I'm afraid. Can you just read medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'll be able to read it. German's the international language of medicine, my dear. Yes, I can see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate. I have no idea. What the fuck? From outside the hood. All right, here. All right, never mind. The photograph. All right. I see it. A trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from the outside of the beach hut. You take us for fools? There's not a hint of any such thing. I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone at least appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to. Alright, once again, I must call you to be explicit on the card. Right here.
Take that!
Look closely, just here. In the screen at the back of the HUD, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds. No, I can't. I can't see any such thing. It's true that the HUD in question had 4 walls as you expect, however. By parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them. This is extraordinary. Oh, that is extraordinary, yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from the outside of the beach hut. Everyone present at the scene, there could only be one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Bread was killed. Right in many Momo-san, it could have only been you. Alright, yeah.
Objection!
Yeah, left me almost speechless. Look at the photograph.
Objection!
No, of course not. We're not. You recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death. Inside the beach hut. She just sat down on the stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me, as if she knew she was untouchable. Slid in the read screen. We're aligned perfectly with the back of the person who was sitting on that stool. My word, so... In fact, the victim was... killed while sitting on that stool. By a stab wound to her back, delivered through the read screen. Having been attacked, Miss Bread rose to her feet instinctively. Then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut. For the defendant, Membami-san, appalled eyes. Appalled? Was that it? Appalled? Appealed? Appealed, I mean. I don't remember. Appalled? Alright, we got him. Are you silenced, Memimo-san? I take it that you do not deny the charge. Oh, we got it? We finished this? Damn. That will do. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. This court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means the defendant, Membami-san, is innocent of the crime. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, he'll tell us to hold it. Finally made him cave, I must say. Never been more proud. No, this can't be. The Ouchie clan can. What of my growth of hope? It wasn't all a palliation. Oh, whatever it is. Parichian. Ashen? I'm delivering my final bit again. Hold it. Here it goes. Alright, Mini Momo. An almighty empire delivers justice, it is. Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and brand them as criminals. We established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut through the read screen walls. So your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now, does it? Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed, it doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. After all, trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else. This is actually just looking clueless. What are you talking about? Nah, I got this. Dirt you dug up. You got some dirt he dug up? What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course. The poison? Let's ask the professor for a comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison was developed and was stolen, right? It would be shown that the poison was administered to the victim, Miss Bread. Isn't that right? That is correct. The usual constriction of the victim's pupils are A sure sign. So, presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed. Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. Ah, how refreshing to hear the argument of a metropolitan mind. Precisely. It matters not a jot who stabbed whom, in whose back, and with whose knife. Because, quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison. Alright.
Objection!
Get to the witness statement. Witness testimony. Forgotten already, have we? Yokel, during these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor, your side assistant. Wait, can I, like, speed this up? Choose to attack has no trace. Yeah, I know that. This is out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right? Well. Ah. Alright, where does this leave us? How in that case did the poison enter the victim's body? There's an undeniable obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it. I mean, she drank it. Have a look in the photo here. As you can see. A bottle of carbonated water and glass has been knocked onto the sandy floor. The poison could have been slipped into either. Suppose somebody made Miss Bread drink it. Well, what'd you know? Look at those dashing eyes. Great for a fun shot. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make an excess of all eye poison woman, wouldn't it? I mean...
Hold it!
No. Established? What are you talking about? Huh? Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe given that the person who established it was you. What on earth does he mean? Let me capture those wide eyes. This is a prime press photo, this is. We've seen that this trial is not destined to end at after all. Maybe I called the witness to give a further testimony. That's great, that is. Alright. Alright. Oh, we've got the British. Was it always like this? I think it always has been. But this was a bit more different for some reason. So you admitted then. Everything happened as I described. You're the one who stabbed Miss Bread in the back with the reed screen. You can't blame this miserable country of ours. Alright, he just admitted that. What an idiot. But he's still lying about this, though. Not bad. That's right, you guessed it. A pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own hand. You implicating it was her? You're implicating that was her? Kazuma-san is the now Hodo-san. They never stop looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. I want to complete this though. Alright, we'll try to do 3 hours. If we're not done in 3, if it will be closer, right? Alright, let's find out. Sure, we could wrap this up sooner. Cross-examination. Complete innocence. Yes, I stabbed the Englishman. That very fact proves I'm innocent. Alright. Alright. Isn't this... Is it this? I don't know.
Objection!
Nope, never mind. I think we should have been pressing here. The false statements was a bit suspicious.
Hold it!
So you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim? Alright. Got my gun. Alright, so you do admit that the murderous intentions to what misread them. She was pure evil, a cold-blooded killer, committing murder right here on our Empire soil. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance. But I had to step in. Yo, this guy just straight up admitting that he just stabbed her. Right, yeah. Oh, behold it. I can't. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe. Right, young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whatever you feel like. No, you can. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen. But this awful man is making all this up. Susato, please, you have to make him listen. Turn to the dock at once, Mbami-san. Please, I implore you, the journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Bigoted. Great peeping Tom. Whoa, take it easy there. Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say. Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks. I will grant the request of the defense. But, Your Excellency. Yeah, get fucked, ouchie. Oh, ouchie, ouchie. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison. I guess we press on this and see if someone... I say, right? I suspect her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the news poison. Surely it wouldn't be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if the thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be difficult. That's true, I passed the Professor Mikotoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. As I left, I was searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we've been developing, you see. And since Sasaki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I had a singularly terrible experience with the deadly poison. I want to look my old enemy in the eye. Sure, you can understand that. Any Momo-san, one small question if you don't mind. I do mind. Can you see I'm busy? Alright, we find it clear you were on the outside of the beach the beach hut, listening in whilst the defendant Miss Bro was conversing. Presumably then, it was you who wrote this article about what you heard. Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in the morning edition of the Shoyu News. The dealers are too accurate for it. It had been written by anyone else. Sorry, didn't hear what you're talking about. Yes, look at this. The entire article. It's almost what I said to Miss Brett. Word for word. Well, Many Momo-san. This journal and a citizen of the free country. I don't have to reveal my sources. That was the founding principle of Many Momoism. Father's clearly right about this. The reporter did write that article, and he's based it on what he overheard it from the HUD. You're trying to cover up the fact that you've been listening in. That's why you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her. Shut up! My stories never stink. Look, whatever you say, little girl, doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say. I want to go on the record. Hold on, huh? Okay. You may amend your formal testimony. Yo, he's breathing heavily. The point is, if you poison someone, there'll be no reason to go stab the person as well. Alright, hold on. That's it. That's the point right there. But I'll save just in case. There we go. Well, I can think of one reason. What? Before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the card. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut? Of course you did. There can be no question to that. After all, when we were all in the laboratory together, all we were told that it was a terrible toxin. Yeah, and there's one important fact to consider. According to the witness, Membami-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to slip the poison into Miss Brett's drink. Where are you going with this, counsel? Many Momo-san has made it quite clear that you observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it. Ah. Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately. Fun. At which point many Momo-san overheard some worrying information. Worrying information? What worrying information? Right, there are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people. Ah. Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Memami-san being no exception. Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson unaware of this telltale properties. In other words, someone like you. Writer many mo. Writer many momo. Many memo. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. And it was you who administered it to the unwilling victim. But you quickly realized that that was a terrible mistake, because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. As you listen in from the far side of the bench hut's thin walls, you learn of these facts. You already given the victim the poison at that point, it was too late. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involves stabbing the victim in the back through the reed screen. I was going to say reed section. But what good could that possibly do? Isn't it obvious, counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Once in the blood, the poison caused the onset of pupil constriction. He had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison use, no one would have ever suspected. It's extraordinary. Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified. The killer had to mask its use, which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back. Order, order, order. The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward? Well, there are a number of, yes. I counter completely. The prosecution evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his top knot, he is clinging to lost hope. Lost? Oh. Oh. Oh, not again, this guy. Whoa, he threw it on the ground. Ah! You pathetic, useless, fallen samurai. Fallen? Who are you calling fallen? I don't need a counter-argument. What are you talking about? It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Give it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. Lots of fine theories. I don't need an argument because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's the evidence? Wait, can I use the... Alright, hold on. And the barrel. Alright, the reservoir. I think we got evidence. We got the... Alright, let's find out. Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? Without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news on facts. Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself. I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here, in my many memos, every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Show You News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word. Well, they wouldn't take out a pen, right? Just a pen. How's that then? Blown the story wide open? See, Raiten, many Momo. Alright, yeah. I don't give a damn. Couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory. Ah. Must have stolen it. He stole it and used the skill. And if that's the case, as you identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here. What's the point, you annoyingly handsome country bumpkin? My point is, there is one way that you, Many Momo-san, who have stolen the poison that day, is on his hand. We can do many things now. It could be this. Let's find out.
Take that.
Oh, this was not it. This was not it. It must be the pen. Must be the pen.
Take that.
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen. Ah, fountain pen. How can that possibly be relevant? These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji letters. Or characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time in some 15 years ago now. Bah, I swear by a weasel's hair calligraphy brush. Nothing else, these newfangled pens are merely a fad. Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, obviously I love my fountain pen. Took upon a... what? Soupcon? A scrumptious ink. Sumptuous ink. Yeah, fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, in which the ink is stuck up through a nib of the pen in order to write it with leather. What does all this talking of sucking up ink have? Ah! Yeah, yeah, there we go. Okay. It's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course. My word. Can this really be? Well, Mini Momo-san? When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir.
Objection!
That never happened. True. We've heard that there were procedures in the place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places? No, I'm a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would have not been conducted. Well, this was quite startling, I must say. I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene of the crime, or at the scene, by Many Momo-san. So, the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped? Are you suggesting the natural conclusion is that in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped your pen after you emptied the poison into a glass? It could be any number of alternative expression. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down deals of his conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand. I don't think so. No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink? What? As you can see for yourself, if you examine the evidence, it would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison was filled its reservoir and had been emptied in into the victim's glass. Witness, what do you have to say in your defense? It's like you can't prove it, eh? This is how our modern justice system works, is it? So what if the ink in my pen runs dry? What if my pencil snaps? Yo, it's Wolverine. I claw my way back into the game. Ah! That's assault. You claim I sucked the poison up in my pen? That's wild speculation, nothing more. If you thought you could bring down a fine upselling system with a trick like that, think again. Huh. Looks as though it's gonna take one final decisive blow to finish this matter. Yeah, we got it. We're getting close. And therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence.
Objection!
I do have evidence. Menimoa-san, this is how our modern justice system works. What? In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we are well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you. Very well then. I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence. This is it then. This will be the final piece of the puzzle. Yeah, it's the reagent. Oh, the reagent, I mean. Reagent. The reagent. Defense can prove by means of this item that was the witness pen that used to steal the poison.
Take that!
Counsel, what is that bottle? This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question. Yes, that poison is entirely a new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by another method. Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison. A reagent? What? One drop of the contents of this bottle. On the tip of your fountain pen, Menimoa-san. It's all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt. No. You can't. I won't. Crimes are bad enough. But at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once. This is my fault. The Empire drove me to this. Got to hold the head high as a civilization. Bowing his head, I took up arms, the palm of my pen. In the name of justice, righteousness. Damn, they just fucked him up. Did I do it right? That was a Susato takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown. A Ryutaro. That's it, we kicked his ass. The instant the first drop of reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present. Do we see the pen? No, never mind. And I saw it was there in the lab, the poison. The devil got a hold of me. And I decided to do it on the whim. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully. And then you waited for the opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen. Yes, that's right. Answer me one thing, Menimoa-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? Find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up. Then why did the Englishwoman end up dead? I went into the HUD intending to quiz her on the situation, that's all. As a reporter. A known killer enjoying full freedom. Evading justice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about her. And she just laughed in my face. Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism? Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways. You ignorant plebeian. Or plebeian. What did you call me? This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, with free pass, is really very depressing. You see our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out. And crawl back into the cave you came from. Damn, she was BBM. That's when I remembered about the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. Yeah, what a terrible tale. In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible. I couldn't. Couldn't let her get away with what she'd done. And she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journo spirit getting all fired up. I'd like to ask you something. Yes? You often talk about justice. Surely as a journalist, you could have used another means to deliver the justice you sought. There's no justice in this press. Sorry? After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what had happened in the courtroom. And finally, I discovered the truth. Oh, damn. It was a cover-up. That's what it was. Alright, damn. Many momos. A cover-up? What do you mean? I'll remind you of your position, witness. Be careful what you say. Oh, come on. Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national? Consular jurisdiction? Should never have come to it. Yet that puffed up English woman was going to set sail away into the sunset as a free woman. The only possible explanation is that, behind the scenes, some deal had to go down between Britain and Japan. A sort of deal. I've done my research, dug up all the dirt. I was all ready to be published. Do you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up. Came under pressure from the government, you mean? If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, what choice do I have but to see that justice done myself? Let's not forget, Menimo-san, you committed murder yourself, and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I am sorry, but you know better than Jezebel bread. Jezebel? Jezebel bread. Jezebel bread. Truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all. I suppose. Right, done. Yeah, that's me. Ah, yes. Sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing in a manly way here. It's almost unbelievable that this was your first experience of the Supreme Card. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits. Oh, now Hada-san. Nosuke, you mean? The way he handled the trial 9 months ago and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we're generally entering a new era of justice in this land. I wonder where this... Yeah, I wonder where Susato will go after this. That's very flattering, Your Excellency. Even the defense you put forward today made me feel something. What do you made him feel? Most keenly. Keenly? Keenly? Keen. Keenly. Do you have any final thoughts? You got wrecked again. Oh god, he's got the... I callow youth not once but twice. I'm guessing he's gonna... Yeah, if there was any shred of my former self left, it has withered and died here today. Gosh, your journey to cultural alignment sure took a while, didn't it? Silence! Rather than living on in shame. I will end it all now with this blade. For the true path to altruism. Altruism? One hopes that the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness. Gonna cut that tuft of hair? Sprig of my top knot. The time is right for the farewell. Hope isn't lost forever. Taketsuchi. Oh god. Gone. Alright. Where's the cherry blossoms? The sakura petals. Ray Ray, oh god, her name. Just remember me. Or remember. Oh great. Remember me. Remember me. Oh, there's a Jerd. There we go. Oh. Yeah, good thing we did it in 3 hours, huh? Yeah, last session was like 2 hours. I mean, 4 hours. I wonder why it took so long. Maybe because I was like talking so hard. I don't know. It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest though. It's all I can do just to stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibilities, such a great burden to bear. Don't they now, Hilda-san? Susato! Susato! Thank you. Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there. Ray and father. Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you've... Oh no. I thought I'm going to cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end too. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So I will have to say that the congratulations belongs to you. Susato, don't be so standoffish. Sorry? We're friends, equals, and the trial's over. So no more of this formal, super humility nonsense. Time to celebrate with swagger. To throw caution to the wind. Caution to the... What? I'm the great defense lawyer Ryutaro Naruhodo. I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Or something like that. Right, I see. I'll, think about it, Ray. At any rate, we really knocked the wind of that horrid man. Felt so good. Yes, it was so satisfying. It really was. Is there anybody else we could throw together? I hope you're not looking at me, Ray. Oh my goodness. No, of course not. Of course not. Ah, there it is, alas. Ray's lovely smile. You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo. Thank you, but I couldn't do it without your help. Anyway, time to bid farewell to Ryutaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but he's back to Susato Mikotoba for now. Or now. So I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame. What? What is happening? Ah, Suzuki-san and Inspector Hosonaga. I do hope you've been keeping well. Is that really you? Yes, I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope, but it's me. Susato Mikotoba. So dashing, so divine. No. Doubly dashing, yes, and devilishly divine. Just look at you. I had no idea, Mrs. Addison, Esquire S, that you were a locum student now, Hodo Esquire cousin. No, that's not astonishing, astounding, ace attorney. No, you got it wrong. Posazaki-san, so confused. No, that's not right. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. But after Naruhodo's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Suzuki-san was free to return to Japan. Now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author, yeah. I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea, and I'm a chief inspector of the police bureau. You came up with Mr. Turtle, no less. Oh, I'm sure you shouldn't be admitting to that, Inspector. Amazing, you're a woman of many faces, I see. Just two, really. And this was my once-in-a-lifetime event, I hope. Oh, I'm not impatient on you, though, Inspector. A once-in-a-lifetime experience. Never again. Well, I'm a professional, of course. I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do. Yeah, he failed to... 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, He was undercover disguised as the head waiter of the restaurant. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey. But Sogi died, though that didn't help you, did it? Kazuma-sama. From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. What do you mean? I'm talking about the murder that the English woman committed at the end of the last year. Ah yes, it was the English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes, the man I invited to Japan personally. The mystery is, why did she kill him? Now that the culprit herself is dead, it must be to do with these dealings, the shady dealings between Britain and Japan government. On the voyage to Great Britain, we had the most unexpected encounter with Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the great detective, I mean. Yes, I remember Mr. Holmes well, of course. Ah, my arch nemesis. How lightly you utter his name. Well, according to the stories published about him in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes, a best friend. That man was an exceptional doctor of medicine, name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe it that it was a coincidence. Oh. I think the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been a friend and partner of Mr. Holmes. And if that really is true... Oh no, not Iris, no! The poor girl will never see her beloved father again. No. As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study, and I was around the time you were born. Yes, grandmother told me about it. On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial Yume University, but I also solved another role as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs. Yes, I was aware of that as well. In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you. You just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan? It's been 2 months now since I've returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan, yeah. It said you collapsed with a high fever and you were growing weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from? That's what I like to know, because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceive might inconvenience me in some way or harm me? That's really the only explanation I could think of. Dear me, do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato? I'm sorry, my dear, I simply can't. Ah! Let me go! What the f- Oi! Maybe Momo. Oh, he's got something to say? Mimono-san. So, one throw wasn't enough for you. I've got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor. Me? I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. In that visiting student's fate. Visiting student? Giselle's bread, you mean? No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago. What? Student of law? He must mean Kazuma-sama. What are you talking about? What does this have to do with Kazuma-sama? Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that guy never made it to England. Then he died on the steamship. That he'll never... Ah! Oh shit. The council. I mean His Excellency. The inspector find him here. What are you officers playing at? I'll be sorry, Your Excellency. I was coming to tell you that the Ricksaw has arrived, Eugen. And it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him. I'll be there shortly. Uh-oh. Oh, Your Excellency. Trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore. I'm merely your father's friend. Seishiro Jigoku. Your father's friend? Alright, he knew. Yeah, more dashing appearance. Susato. Did you know all along? From the start of the trial? The judge sees everything, Susato. Couldn't let you take the risk. If Seishiro here hadn't known, and then he recognized you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand as an old friend. So, Seishiro, shall we? Yes, having ruled on that case, these guys are crooked. One of these... Are these guys crooked? Before you go, father, sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to an earlier conversation at a later date. Well done again, both of you did admirably. Oh, thank you very much. What do you think of my Seishiro sling, eh? Been a while since I sent a man flying like that. Ha 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 ha. Where could father be hiding from me? About Jezail? What is her damn name? And now it seems, according to the reporter, Bal Kazuma-sama. I should have looked at a Wikipedia page or Wikia page. I'm gonna have to bring this up with father sometime. And nobody else is around. Oh, Suzuki. Medical assistant Mikotoba-san Esquire S. Could I have a word? Oh yes, of course, Suzuki-san. What is it? I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you. Oh? I believe it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England. Because I have to hear. Please, Suzuki-san, tell me at once. I will. As you know, my time in England was terrible, cursed. I have no doubt. Such awful things I have embroiled in. Thank goodness locum student Naruhodo Esquire stepped in. After he scared my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship. When right in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba, who wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report. My father. He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. It was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you, asking you to return to Japan. What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in? Is it Van Zieks? I don't really know exactly. But do you remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in. Of course, I could never forget. My father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case. Second one? You mean the one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public? Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware is the first. Yeah, I don't get what's the two cases? I completely forgot. Anyway, the point is, it seems the case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. I don't think I know this. The case of the haunted lodgings. That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. I thought that whole business was over, but it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was the start. Perhaps maybe it's next. Yeah, it's going to be next, it looks like. Not the first case that he was in. He was in 2 cases. That's what I was wondering.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
And that's the end. Damn. I wonder if I'm still wondering if the voice actor is like... I know she's like Japanese or something. She's Asian. I know she is. I don't know if she's like British. Like... Alright, we did it. We did it though. Finished. I think that's it. We're at port. Yay. Clouded Kokoro. The great departed soul. Oh, that's the Crystal Palace. Twisted Karma in his last bow. Final chapter. All right. Whoops. Let's start there. Turn. All right, that's it for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. A good session all around. The next session, we're going to talk about the case that happened. The second case with Natsumi. And the Haunted Lodgings. I wonder what it is. But yeah, that's it. Good session all around. And I hope you enjoy it. I got to wrap things up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this session of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll catch you guys later.